Hey guys, welcome back to the town of Otter. Good afternoon. This is no longer Albany. It is May 19th on Friday. Of course, it is my weekend, and I was playing some this morning and finally able to clean up town. I haven't been on in about a week since I was out of town, some work stuff, and then visiting some family. We all were taking a little bit of a mini vacation before hurricane season starts because then we will not be allowed to leave the state, essentially. So I'm now stuck and committed for the rest of the summer into early fall. Um, but that's good. This is all, all part of the deal. So I've done a lot of stuff. It really got pretty messy around town, and I've sent Missy some letters of a few things. I have a few things for her that I bought or a few things that I found that I put for sale for her to buy if she wants them. She's from the Regal set she wanted. I got one of them from like a neighbor and Nook. So there's some stuff in my gyroid, and I'll hopefully be seeing her not this weekend because I have some trainings, but next weekend I'm thinking so near the start of June she'll finally be able to get on and play for a bit. I know she's been wanting to play a lot. I found the item down in F4 and I don't remember what it was, but it was something that I sold, I think. What was it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it was, and I just dug it up not too long ago. I went around town and dug everything up and mailed everything and did the whole shebang. Shoot. Was it the classic bed? It was something that was like pretty. Oh no, it was a cabana bed. It was the cabana bed. And I wanted to show you how my house is coming along here. And speaking of which, I'm actually going to check and see if the cabana bed. The cabana bed you can only get from Crazy Red's 10. Man, I love those treasure hunts because if it's from Reds or it's a lottery ticket or something like that, you only if they bury an item, like you can guarantee it's one of those things. So the cabana bed is one of the two items you get from Red's tent of the cabana set. The other one being the cabana chair, which I do not have. So we're still on the hunt for Red, who hasn't been in town for a bit, although he could have came this last week and we wouldn't have known. Sahara's the next person to visit in a few days. But I need a cabana chair from Red's tent, and then I need a cabana armchair, which comes from Tom Nook's lottery, which is probably gonna be the hardest item to get. But the rest of them are just from Nook's shopping around. But we've got most of those now. So that was exciting to get that. Yeah. Otherwise, here in town, nothing, or in my house, nothing else too crazy. I just picked this up because I could, and I don't really have a table space for it at the moment. And then I got this from Gulliver, and I just thought this is cool. Like it always points north. Although, if you're using this as like due north is straight up, the house is tilted in this version. In the other Animal Crossings, the houses are straight, so it would make sense. But in this case, the town is actually tilted clockwise, like maybe 20 degrees to 45 degrees to mark out actually where north is. But I think this is a pretty cool item. So, of course, I'm keeping all of these items from Gulliver. And if there are any kind of beachy to kind of go with the island items, which we'll hopefully be getting soon, we'll be moving these. Both of these will probably actually get moved to the island house. This is just a unique thing because you won't be able to hear it on here, but when you leave or enter a house, it's the first thing you hear before like any other sound effects in the room start playing, including the music. I also saw KK. We got KK D and B. So that happened as well. And as you can see, this is where I was gone from. So we have basically 1 week here in May where nothing exciting is happening, and it'll just be a week in May in town where I'll just be doing some daily stuff, nothing exciting. But then this week's when kind of the June festivities kick up, and then we have, of course, a very busy like couple of weeks in the game as far as activities go. So, last but not least, to get caught up, we had just naturally one villager left. That would be Maple, which was kind of sad, but Maple ended up just leaving randomly during the week that I was gone. Don't really care too much. Or actually, I would have rathered some other people go, but it's all okay because look who moved in. Sally the squirrel. Now, Sally in GameCube is interesting because there's Sally and there's Hazel. And Hazel looks like Sally from Wild World, City Folk, New Leaf, that generation. But Hazel I don't think exists in the other Animal Crossing games. But Sally is Sally from the other games and like personality, like who I think it is. So even just like looking at the house. but Sally doesn't look like the Sally in new games. So there's some weird like thing that happened where Hazel becomes Sally the way they look. We'll go pay Sally a visit here so you can see. But in the very first Animal Crossing town I ever made, which is Wild World, Sally was one of my original 3 characters that were in town, and Sally was my best friend in town by far. So Sally is like my favorite character, although the Sally in this game is a little different, but it's good enough. Poncho being the other one. And then because something I'm going to show off here in a moment, I traveled between towns again, or rather I had someone come to my town and visit. We did lose another character, which was Piper, who was I think living over here. And in its place we got Murphy, which I think was from that town. So we did another villager swap. So we haven't met Murphy yet, but we'll go run down and meet Murphy the dog. But I was really excited about Sally. So we got a pretty good crew. Sally, Ace, Rasher, Bob, Aurora. We got a pretty decent crew here. I wouldn't mind if we were static if we didn't lose a few more, but yeah, so that was exciting as well. And then money. I'm gonna make once I get to 100,000, which I did, and then I bought a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to fish a little bit, get to 100,000, make 100,000 payment off on my house. So then it'll be only 300,000, I think, for the remainder. Again, no fish and bugs to catch until June that are brand new. At the moment, we now have all the bugs as well. Because I got the ant. Although actually we're still missing the snail. But I haven't looked around town in the rain in a day. But the rainy season will start soon, so I'm not worried. The snail is actually the one thing that I'm missing. Okay, that is about it. There's nothing else to go show off really in town. So the rest of this episode is going to be talking about some rare items that we have here in the game. So as you guys remember, I was entering universal codes, and I was doing that whole deal. And basically, there's a collection of items in the game, like a dozen or 2 dozen items, probably like 20 items, that you can only get in the game from Universal Codes because they were given out as giveaways through magazines, either Nintendo Power or Tips and Tricks magazine, or they were given out on the Animal Crossing original website. If you visited it over the couple years it was active, which I remember doing as a kid and got some of these items, or they're not actually there's not actually a way to get it in the game, but someone found a universal code for it, and they're like, what the heck, it adds it to your catalog, so sure, we'll go ahead and give it to you. The first is going to be the legitimate items, which is going to be all of the Animal Crossing Mario-themed items. So this was from the Tips and Trick magazine. It's a Nintendo bench. This is something you've seen in the other games. www.nintendo.com. So it's pretty snazzy. You'll find this in the other versions of the game. It's like, again, it's considered like a kind of like a rare item, or an item that if it was in your catalog before, you could, order it, but that whole deal. So all of these Nintendo items for now, except for the Nintendo bench, I think I'll leave here in the basement. The rest of them, the whole Mario set here, I'm going to just go ahead and shove in storage at the post office for now until we get another house to go ahead and display this. And then you've got all the basics, and all these are designed on the old like Super Mario Brothers style. They make the sound effects. You've got the coin. And then this one I don't think has a face on it. Just your mushroom. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So it's not the new Super Mario Brothers look that they have in some of the other games. Your block doesn't do anything, but you can put stuff on top of it. Then you have this. The flag doesn't go up and down in this one, but it does make like the sound. And then you have this, the bullet bill, which I think is like the coolest item. Which is one of the items I got from the website, but I didn't really know what it was. I was like, a bullet bill? Like, what the heck did I just get from the website? What is this code for? And then when I put it in my house, I was like, it's awesome! Because it shoots it, and then it, like, runs into the wall and goes through your items. So the bullet bill is definitely pretty neat. So that's that. And then this doesn't have a piranha plant coming out of it, but it does make the noise. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Like you're going down. And again, these are all modeled in the old style, and then just looking at this is a testament that this is definitely the older themed items, but they're also not like 8-bit little blocks like they are, I think, in City Folk. But that makes a little fire flower noise. And then you've got the Koopa shell in this block. The Koopa shell makes it sound like you're kicking it. And then this is like your mushrooms coming out of it. So again, it works as a table. And then last but not least, something that is unique to GameCube that I wish this effect was brought back into the other games, but we'll dim the lights for this one. Are you ready? Ah! I think this is awesome. So it plays the Starman theme in the background, and then you start flashing invincible just like the star does, and you glow. So I think this is just really cool. So we'll just sit here. Um, so yeah, that's pretty. This about sums up the Mario item. That's all the items. Actually, we'll go upstairs real quick just to take a look at the wallpaper and flooring. But I think these are like the exact same as all of the games. This is something that hasn't changed. Um, yeah, these haven't changed. So you could make a Mario room, and I probably will. And once we make a new character, which we might sooner than later because we're going to have so many items coming up soon. So yeah, this is the set. I'll leave the Nintendo bench down here for now, and the rest of these items are going to go into storage. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then I'll catch up with you guys in a short moment. Yeah, I'll catch up with you guys in a short moment. Let me go store this away and then pull out the next set of items. Okay, the second thing I'm going to show off is a set of unused clothing in the game. And some of this will look familiar if you're an expert at the, or you know a lot about the game and played a lot of GameCube. Some of these will be unfamiliar. Essentially, what these clothings are is there's no way for the player, meaning myself, to actually legitimately get any of these 8 pieces of clothing you see here. However, they are in the game as actual items, and you can, for your catalog purpose, of course, you can't order any of these, and you can only get them through a universal code. Now, these 4 over here, basically all these robes, we don't really know what they're from. They're used in the N64 version of the game in Japan because they have different holidays, and their wishing well is like a little bell shrine instead, and all the characters dress up in, of course, different robes and clothing. This is definitely more of the Japanese style, and this version of GameCube was specifically made for North America, or for the Western world here. So a little different. But so these 4 items, which I think are the summer robe, the somber robe, or I guess I can just pick them all up because I'm going to pick them up anyway. I'm not going to actually try all these 4 on, but if you're looking for a Japanese styled clothing, there's plenty in the game, but the plum kimono, the bamboo robe, the summer robe, and the somber robe were all used, something that villagers could wear for holidays, but they're not used in the game at all, and they're just kind of there. But they're unique clothing, but only handled by codes from universal codes that hackers kind of found out. So that's that. They get out of your catalog. I'm going to dump them in storage. These 4 over here are actual clothing items that you will see villagers in your town wear at certain holidays. These are the red and blue sweatsuits, and for the spring and fall sports festivals, the sport fairs, the girls wear the red one and the boys in town wear the blue one when they get on their different teams. And then basically what the teams they are on or the gender, they wear those different colors and then they compete. So there's no way for you to wear it. But now if you use the codes to get it, you could wear the shirt and like match with them, and it's all that. But they're pretty basic shirts. Honestly, you could make these at Able Sisters and they would look basically the same. Now these 2 items over here are my favorite items. And these I actually always would use the code for to get them because I would just actually wear them around as a normal shirt because I really like them. And in later versions of the game, like Wild World, City Folk, or especially City Folk and New Leaf, these are items that I remember you can actually get at the shop and actually wear, and they're pretty dang cool. But in this version of the game, you can't get them. We're going to see them soon. So these are the red and blue puffy vests. And essentially, just like in the sports fairs, for the June and November fishing tourneys, which happen every Sunday of those 2 months, all of the girls will wear the red puffy vests, and the boys will wear the blue puffy vests that are competing. And then they'll fish in them. And I've got this one for, I can always use the codes to get more, but I'll use this one. I'm going to give that to Kaylin, and I'm going to have the blue one to wear. And I really just think it's a cool shirt, honestly. And I will probably just wear this around like most of June because I think it's pretty dang cool. So yeah, those are the shirts. Again, you can look the codes up for all of this stuff, but there's nothing special about them. They're just shirts that the villagers wear in the game for holidays, and they're kind of left over, and there's no way for the actual player to get them. So instead, you can use codes to get them and add them to your storage and add them to your catalog and kind of be done with them. And that's what I've done. And there's a whole bunch of other beta items that are in the game that you can obtain, and some of those you can actually get legitimately. So I'm not using codes on any of those other items in the game. Now I'm going to go put these in storage, and then I have one last cluster of items to show you guys, and then that'll be it for this episode. Well, most of you probably guessed it and knew from mentioning before, but the rest of the items that I got with the codes to complete out all of my use of universal codes to getting the exclusive items are the NES games. Now, as I mentioned before, there's NES games you can get from the island. There's NES games you get from Reds. There's NES games you get from Tom Nook at a shop and lottery events. And then, of course, the neighbors means they can bury the items. So there's lots of ways to get other NES games in the game. And those NES games that have an actual way to get them in the game, I haven't got yet. Other than the two we got from the grab bag, which would be normal if you were starting up the game. Now, first up, you've got the Forbidden Four. You have The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, and Ice Climbers. Now, The Legend of Zelda had no way at all to ever get the game. Legitimately, the only way to use it was using either Universal Code. Actually, I don't think there's universal codes for any. Yeah, there's not universal codes for these four that I'm aware of. You have to use action replay hacking. And what I did is I downloaded a town that someone had posted online. And then I had their character bring the games over to my town because they had it on the town. So that's how I did that. There's no way to get this, so it's Legend of Zelda. Super Mario Brothers, it was like given out in Japan through Famitsu magazine, I think, very briefly. Super Mario Brothers, they had a way to like transfer your game from like the 64 save data version over to the new game, and then you'd get Mario Brothers as like a gift for that. And then Ice Climbers and Mario Brothers well, maybe it was Super Mario Brothers. It might have been Super Mario Brothers and Ice Climbers, but they had a very rare e-reader card. So in Series 4, which was the last series of the cards that were made for GameCube, there was not a lot of them made, and then they were all already considered rare in the deck. But basically, you could get one of these cards, either Ice Climber or Super Mario Brothers. You would scan it and you would get it in the mail. So you could get those two games legitimately in the American version. You could still do that if you went online and bought them for a lot of money if you could find them. We've got those four, and I went ahead and got the Forbidden Four, where again, technically it's just a Forbidden Two, but I've got these four. And then the other 5 games you all would get by visiting the Animal Crossing website, and just periodically they would change. You'd click around, they would give you the codes, and I remember getting them like that as a kid. And those are, I think, Donkey Kong 3, Soccer. Well, here, we'll just go and click the exact number. So Donkey Kong 3. Oh, geez. Come on. Punch-Out. Soccer. Donkey Kong Jr., and Clu Clu Land D. So those are all the versions, and I'm not going to sit here and actually play all of them because that would take a really long time. But plus, I've played all these at some point, and I know I want to set up an arcade once we get all the NES games. But really, once you get all the ones with the universal codes, you're like, holy cow, I have a ton of games, and you're kind of like overwhelmed versus just like the couple you kind of slowly accrete, and then all of a sudden you get the codes for them all at once with the universal codes. So again, all these items on the floor, all these NES games on the floor, the only way to get them is through codes or hacking nowadays, which even the back days, that's the way it was before. That I also had that character because last time we visited the town, I was like, okay, we'll bring one fruit over, and of course I brought apples, and we already have town apples. So I went ahead and brought cherries, which I'm going to plant them. The rest of this afternoon, I think I'm going to work a little bit on continuing to make the town perfect, man. Every day I'm planting trees, and there's acres that have just been not healthy enough. So we're getting there. I'm trying to do that soon before summer comes, and then Caitlin and I are playing more, and we can start landscaping the town out. So just to wrap up, because I've never played any of these Forbidden Four before, in Animal Crossing, I want to see if they work and try actually playing them. So we're gonna just go ahead and play Legend of Zelda real quick. And I might play it. I'm going to, of course, try these out myself after, but just so you guys can see. Oh, yeah, it's going to be distorted. I never fixed that issue playing this on my recording software because the shape of it changes. I forgot about that. So sorry this looks goofy. Oh, can you actually make save files? Oh, I have all these games, almost all of the ones in this game that are at some point they're on like my 3DS or my Wii. How do we start? I'm pressing B. Oh no. This is terrible. What do I do? Oh, I see. Okay. There we go. Okay. So yeah, they kind of, yep, there we go. So it works. Even though there's no way for you to get it, it works. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Yep, this is just going to turn into a Legend of Zelda Let's Play. Oh gosh. What? Okay, we're not going to deal with this now, but cool to see that that works. Of course, it's going to save that. And I guess unlike the other versions where it just saves high score, it looks like we might have a little extra going on there. So I guess the Super Mario one's really one I'd be interested to check out if it kind of actually saves that. Okay. Dang, all the way up there. Okay, I've played tons of Ice Climbers. I don't really want to do this. I forgot how horrible the jump mechanics were. How to, oh my gosh. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, for now, I think these are going to go into storage. I'll keep a couple of them down in the basement, but they're going to go in storage with the rest of the stuff, just because I don't have space for them in my house. So that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.